All right, Captain Jeski's going to start, and he's got a statement to read.
Good morning. I'm Captain Mark Jeski, Irondequoit Police Department. I'm joined at the podium this morning by Major Barry Chase from New York State Police, Chief David Cathaldi from the Brighton Police Department, our Supervisor David Seeley. Next I have Special Prosecutor Thomas Ray, Captain Jessica Franco from our Investigative Division, Sergeant Jason Hughes from our Investigative Division.
Let's go Jeremy Kearse.
Jeremy Kearse from the New York State Police. Before we start, and on behalf of my colleagues, I wish to express our sympathy and condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Edward Boucher. Please know that our thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. We acknowledge that as law enforcement professionals, it is our responsibility to provide a complete and thorough investigation to provide answers to his family as to the circumstances of what occurred this past weekend. To summarize the case thus far, on Friday, May 14th, Mr. Edward Boucher was reported missing to the Brighton Police Department by his family. Brighton Police Department's investigation into his disappearance led to a neighborhood off Hellendale Road in Irondequoit. An extensive search of the area Friday night by members of law enforcement did not immediately locate Mr. Boucher, but did find his vehicle unoccupied. The neighborhood search continued on Saturday, and at approximately 3:15 in the afternoon, the body of a deceased individual was found at 403 Hellendale Road. This is a distance away from where his vehicle was found the night before. Since that time, a team of law enforcement professionals from the Irondequoit Police Department, New York State Police, and District Attorney's Office have worked tirelessly to research leads, find witnesses, interview persons of interest, and leave no stone unturned in their pursuit of determining what occurred and bringing anybody responsible to justice. Today we are here to share the next milestone in this case. Last night at approximately 7:40 p.m., Christopher Warnley, and I'll spell that for you, it's W-E-R-N-L-E, a 48-year-old resident of 403 Hellendale Road, was arrested for the murder of Mr. Edward Boucher. We are confident in stating that this was not a random act. Mr. Boucher and Mr. Warnley were known to each other, thereby eliminating fears of any threat to the general public. Christopher Warnley was charged with murder in the second degree and arraigned in the Irondequoit Town Court by the Honorable Judge Joseph Valentino. At his arraignment, he was remanded to Monroe County Jail without bail. His next court appearance is scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th at 4 p.m. The investigation into this incident continues, and limited information beyond what has been provided will be released at this time. On behalf of Chief Laird and the Irondequoit Police Department, I would like to recognize and thank our law enforcement partners that attributed the success of this investigation thus far. They include representatives from the New York State Police, Brighton Police Department, Webster Police Department, Greece Police Department, Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office, the U.S. Marshals Service, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, and the Ontario County District Attorney's Office. I would also like to thank the countless members of the community that assisted. They assisted law enforcement with information regarding this investigation, came up with leads, and video footage that helped in this case immensely. Please know that your contributions to this case have been monumental and invaluable. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Special Prosecutor Thomas Ray.
Yep. Good morning, folks. Thomas Ray, my last name is spelled R-E-H. Early this week, I was asked by Administrative Judge Craig Doran to consider handling this case moving forward. The reason that it's necessary for me to do so is because the Monroe County DA's office has a conflict on the case. There was a family member that had a relation to Mr. Boucher in this case, and so as a result, it was incumbent upon the DA's office in Monroe County to recuse themselves. I agreed to handle this, and I'm doing so in conjunction with some help from Jim Ritz from the Ontario County DA's office, who's the DA in that county, and specifically Heather Hines, who's one of the felony prosecutors that's working for that office. So my involvement just began earlier this week. I just want to say I want to apologize in advance. Because this is an ongoing investigation, we've made an arrest at this point. We're very comfortable with where we are. And with that arrest, having said that, there's a lot more work to be done with respect to all aspects of the investigation. So that's going to be continuing. As a result of that, it's going to be very limited in what we're able to respond to with respect to questions. The other thing I just want to mention is that what I've witnessed in the last few days with the dedication and perseverance of the different police agencies and the way that they've worked together, specifically the Irondequoit Police Department, the New York State Police, the Brighton Police Department, the U.S. Marshals, has been really remarkable to see, and greatly appreciate that. Look forward to working with these individuals on this case going forward, and I believe that's all I have at this time.
We'd open up for a couple questions if you have any.
Is there any motive that you can share with us?
At this time in the investigation, it's still preliminary. We're not going to be releasing any motive that we know of at this time.
You said the two knew each other. What was the nature of the relationship?
I can say they were known to each other for a matter of years. I'm not going to get into exactly how many. We're not sure, but they were certainly known to each other for some time.
Business related or personal or?
The investigation in this preliminary stage, I'm not going to get into any more of
This
that.
is a pretty thorough investigation. Many resources out. Can you just speak to the nature of, how intensive this search was and the efforts this past weekend?
Chief Cathal, you wish to speak to the preliminaries?
Sure. I can tell you that we became involved in this investigation Friday evening. The family reported him missing around, I think it was 8 p.m. Once we did a search with the assistance of the New York State Police in their helicopter. Monroe County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit assisted us. We searched until about 1:30 in the morning, early Saturday morning. We didn't find anything other than the vehicle. We were back at it the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we were there until Mr. Boucher was found.
Did Boucher know anyone else who lived at 403 Hellendale?
We're not going to comment on that at this particular time. The limited information that we can provide is that we know that the individuals knew each other, and I'm referring to Mr. Boucher and the defendant in this particular case. There's a number of pieces to this puzzle that the police are still working very hard on, and this is a very complex investigation. As a result of that, because of the possibility of other things happening in the case, as evidence is developed, we can't go into that.
Are you expecting to make any other arrests?
No idea at this particular point, but it certainly would not be ruled out.
The body was found inside or outside the house?
The body was found outside location on the premises at 403 Hellendale, which is also the residence of the defendant.
Was there any video of the incident, or did video help lead to this arrest?
We're not going to comment on individual pieces of evidence at this time.
Two sort of disparate questions. Was he found under a porch outside?
We're not going to confirm that. We can tell you that he was found in the vicinity of the rear of the building, and there is a porch located in that vicinity.
And sort of separately, you mentioned the U.S. Marshal. Did you have to go looking for him to find Worley?
The U.S. Marshals, and somebody else can comment on that if they wish, were involved with, subsequent to Mr. Boucher's body being found, they were involved with some of the surveillance so that we made sure that the community and everybody else was kept safe throughout the course of the time that Mr. Boucher was found and the arrest of Mr. Wormley was made.
And just one quick follow-up, because I know from folks there that he had not been kind of since the whole thing at the house, because people hadn't seen him for a while. Did he turn himself in? I mean, did you have to go find him, or did he just turn himself in willingly once you?
There was a felony complaint that was issued. There was a warrant that was signed by Judge Valentino yesterday, and the police went out and secured the gentleman last night.
Where was he found?
I don't have that information specifically, but if somebody else wants to comment on that, they certainly could.
He was located in the northern part of Rochester, near the Grease border.
In the investigation, what led you to the house on Allendale?
So,
I would only tell you that, like I said, there was an extensive search, and once we located the car, we just kept expanding that search.
So was there any evidence then at the house? I mean, because the car was found a few blocks away from where Mr. Boucher's body was located. So what led police from the car to the house? I mean, it's not like it's a straight shot between the two.
yep. It's my understanding that there was, once the car was located, that there was a canvass that occurred at that particular point. Based upon all the interviews with the various neighbors and everything else, it eventually led to that location at 403 Hellendale.
The complaint says a blunt object was used. Can you be more specific about that at all?
We can at this time. We have the lab that's working on that piece of it, and we certainly don't have a conclusive weapon at this particular point, although based upon the injuries, we do have confidence that it was a blunt object that was used that ultimately led to the death of Mr. Boucher.
Are you able to repeat for us where exactly Warnley was found, the northern part of Rochester?
It was up in the area of Denice Road. Was it Chesterfield?
Chesterfield, yes.
Unrelated to any address on that actual street. It's just where he was located on foot.
So the belief based on the complaint was like that he died Friday, right, the day that he was reported missing?
That would be totally.
Or it says on or about? So
Yep, I'm sorry, can you repeat that, sir?
Yeah, I guess, it says on the complaint on or about, so I guess that could be Saturday, but it mentions the Friday date. I guess is the belief that he died on the Friday that he was reported missing?
Yes.
Through the